Okay, that's awesome.
Yep.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ba-da-ba-ba.
It was really hard not knowing if you come back or when you come back. Oh,
Wildly Uninteresting Podcast, episode number 148.
oh.
Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you joining us once again for another episode. It's insanity that you all keep showing up every time, but we greatly appreciate it. So thank you for that.
We should start charging.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll go broke.
That's fine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be broke.
I'd rather go broke on a pile of cash.
We're gonna I don't understand why we're going broke.
I don't know.
Oh, because only like 20 people listen. So if we start charging, those 20 people would probably back out. And then new listeners would be like, I'm not paying to
Or you just charge $0.25 an episode.
Oh, well, maybe.
I was going to say $1. I bet anybody would pay $1. I'd pay $1 to listen to something.
I paid $1 to get $10 from Circle K.
Yeah,
I think
awesome.
that speaks to something else that's going on to tell us about it.
Yes.
No, man.
I just like other people to give me money.
We went to a poetry slam last night of Lance's, and that's something that he said. He was like, I do this because I love it. I don't have any money. I'm broke. I'm a broke poet, and I just do it because I love it. And I'm like, if that's true, because he does so much, then he really must love it.
I forget who the hell said it, but I just read a quote earlier in the week. It was about how there's no money in poetry.
Yeah.
There's something else to it. Like, it's more than just, there's no money in poetry, because that's not a very
It's the end of
memorable
it.
quote. But that's the only
That's
part
a
that I
terrible
remembered, so
Apparently it is a memorable
apparently
quote.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? I don't think there is. Something else that really pissed me off. I had a teacher in my junior year, right? And all the way up, well, the entire actually high school in the curriculum for English did not allow for poetry. They were like, we need you to learn literature, like how to write literature, but not poetry. Like we don't.
Why?
Just because they were like, it's not really a form of like intellectual writing.
That's
What?
ridiculous.
Yeah. I forget which
It's
teacher.
greatly intellectual, but everybody hates it. because
Everybody hates it, yeah.
They don't ever show the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
they
it's
show.
just, oh, look at this flower that looks like a vulva.
Yeah.
You know, like, well,
And then they write about that vulva flower.
yeah. If only
Yes.
they knew.
If only.
Teach that in a health class, though.
Oh, that'd be nice.
They should just take some of like the best hip hop and not play it, but print out the lyrics
Yeah.
and say, here's your fucking poetry lesson.
Well,
DJ
see, that-
Khaled.
Absolutely not. I hate you. I want to stab you right now.
I forget which teacher exactly said that shit, but I remember that vividly, man.
They should
It
be
was a lady,
fired.
and
Yeah.
I think her name was last name was like Miss Garrett, and it was through the course of that, and then we just never wrote poetry, and then in other English classes we never studied it really because they were like it's a form of writing and shit, but I guess it's so subjective and it's an art thing that it needs to be covered in an art class.
That was in Portland, though, right?
No, it was no. That was when I got out here to Conway and PRP in Louisville. So
What is that considered?
I guess like Shively.
Shively-ish, yeah. South End,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I would have went to like Atherton, they would have probably been like, let's do this.
I feel like that was more of like the teacher's personal opinion.
I do
Like,
too.
yeah, she didn't understand poetry and
Yeah.
didn't want to teach it, so therefore you don't need to learn it.
Yeah, it kind of made, because I know that was in high school at some point, and it really bugged me because I liked poetry.
Yeah.
And I
Strap
like,
in for 9 months of Virginia Woolf.
but they, and probably personal preference, because like you said, they only show like the bad, but I always thought it was interesting what people could do with words. And I know in like the late 90s and shit, early 2000s, they came out with that like Deaf Poetry Slam thing, and I always loved watching that. But it just, it baffles me, man. I think that if we would have been turned on more to that as kids, we could have done it. But you're right, because they say that there is no money in poetry. Look at
No.
Bukowski. I mean, he
Yeah.
went his whole life broke as fuck
Yeah.
and only got famous, the last 10 years of his life or some shit.
Well, that's because he actually wrote some books.
Right.
Tell some stories.
Nobody wants this poetry, man.
No. Because, I mean, poetry's nice at times.
Yeah.
But then, it's like, what, 99% garbage, 1% cool?
Yeah.
And you're only going to know the 1% cool whenever you're in the middle of, like, an existential crisis.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and I don't personally like poetry. I remember learning about it in school, and I didn't care for it. But actually going and seeing like it
People do
performed
it.
is totally different.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and read poems.
Yeah.
It's like, you remember when there used to be a lot of money in bowling, and bowling used to be the shit, right around the time that the movie Kingpin came out, and they were just like celebrating.
There wasn't a lot of money in bowling. There was just people buying the shirts.
They had a lot of
Right,
fucking
yeah.
like rock stars, pretty much. They like bowlers back in the day, like we're talking 70s and 60s. Like they were treated like fucking rock stars.
Yeah.
Like they really were. I mean, they could do whatever they wanted. Drugs, drinking, all. I mean, the fucking rock star life. And it was so weird to read these stories because I was like, you see it now, and at competitions and shit, only people's like mom and dad show up, and they don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
So it's like all that money that was into it, and they built. I mean, look at the bowling alleys they've created. Like they have like 100 lanes in them, and they're so huge, and they're like Bolorama time and all that shit. And they just have like what 2 people come in,
Yeah.
if that sometimes.
But I mean, you can only watch somebody bowl a perfect game so many times before you think, well, okay, it's not that elusive.
Right. I think that they fucked up when they took steroids out of baseball too.
Yeah.
Because isn't that what we pay for? You pay to see somebody do
we wanna see the
superhuman shit.
extraordinary.
Yeah, but last I read, I mean, it was like a month or 2 ago, but like the contracts or whatever were up for the past or whatever, and they hadn't talked about steroids and shit. Like they stopped testing people altogether.
That was
I don't know if they've stuck with that. Like,
Yeah.
I would assume they went back and fixed it, but
I feel like they should just let people do what they do
yeah,
and see how things work
I know.
out. Yeah.
It'd be a lot more fun.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
say, like, steroids don't allow you to hit the ball better or throw it better. It allows you to build muscle and recover better. Like, it's
just
not like
makes you bigger.
yeah.
It definitely makes it easier to
You
hit
think
home
so?
runs. Look at Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds
Look
killed
at Mark
it.
McGuire.
Yeah.
Can't
That was
prove
when
that
baseball
they-
was good, though. You know?
can't prove though that they wouldn't have been that good off steroids because they were on steroids.
No, but you can prove that Barry Bonds' home runs went up once he got on
Once he got on
steroids.
it.
Yeah. I wonder, did I don't even know if steroids were invented in Babe Ruth's time, but Babe Ruth, I mean, was an extraordinary human when it came to baseball.
Well, then I think they were juicing with shark testosterone.
Is this real?
He's just
No.
making shit up.
They him and then
All they needed was Jack Daniels, son.
I feel like there was some scandal with Barry Bonds and something.
oh, he
I
was on
don't-
steroids.
I thought you just said you didn't know if it.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
No, Babe Ruth. I don't know. It might have been just him fucking whores or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people were just mad about his lifestyle.
He's a womanizer and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course.
Definitely his womanizer.
Yeah.
God. I really
Good
want
old
baseball, though, to like just let them have their steroids, let them smoke their weed,
Oh, smoke weed
and then
for sure. Yeah.
to have like the outfielders, they're all just high as shit.
Yeah.
And
They're not doing much out there anyway.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole don't smoke weed in sports. Do you think it's making them better?
I know.
Are
I
you?
know.
If they want to handicap their performance, let them.
Yeah, let them. Who cares?
Yeah.
They just want to like relax, and weed is a lot better than pharmaceutical medicines for them. So why not just let them do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
I don't know what the argument is with that. Why it's not a performance enhancing drug at
Absolutely
all.
not.
I could see it with bowling, though. Don't let them smoke weed because I think they would just take way more time than
Oh,
needed.
yeah, slow it way up.
It's gonna take forever.
Put your fucking nachos down, Lou. Throw your ball.
Throw your goddamn ball. No, that's I think though them pulling that shit out of sports and really dumbing the shit down. Now football, on the other hand, I know that when it comes to it, because it's a physical sport, they had to make a lot of rules for the brain damage that was causing to their
Yeah.
players.
Well, I think maybe with football they should say no steroids
Yeah.
because they're hitting hard enough as it is.
Oh, I know. Have you seen some of those guys? It's like, how do you even get up and walk away from that?
Yeah.
But I guess it's because if I understood physics a little bit better, it would be from one guy running at a certain speed, another guy running. So when they impact, it looks worse than it actually is.
No, it actually is.
Oh, it is actually bad?
But the way you could counteract that is if a dude dives at you, just stop running.
Oh, yeah, so that you're not increasing
Counteract it.
Yeah, counteract that shit.
Yeah,
Take
it'd
a
be hard
step
to do.
back. Come on, man.
Or left or right, something like that. Like, I'm not away from here.
Babe Ruth was thought to once have injected himself with a similar extract from sheep testicles.
Damn it.
But it made him so close. But it made him ill, and he never used it again. But thought to have.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
And we haven't used that for a while.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. What a dummy, dude. People will do some like strange shit though to enhance their performance in some whatever. Like I feel like some people would eat a bowl of cat shit if their like trainer was like,
Gonna
"Look, I'm
make
telling
you
you."
run fast.
Yeah. I mean, if a trainer told me, I'd consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about because they do blood transfusions for like, so they take younger blood from a younger individual and then they'll
Yeah.
what is it called, doping or
Yeah.
whatever,
I don't know.
and then they inject
Young
themselves with
blood.
that blood.
Yeah.
Or the plasma from like a younger person, so it increases the amount of blood they have in their
Like
system.
the oxygen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
which is
they
weird.
They should just let them drink.
Yeah,
Thin the blood, oxygenate that shit.
they
Can
they
you
do
imagine? It'd be chaos.
Yeah.
They say at the end of
Be
a
awesome.
workout that a can of beer is more hydrating than like a can of water would be, like the same amount of water.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
That's crazy.
Because of the way your body absorbs it and shit like that. But it's weird.
I don't
Yeah.
think
Weird.
that's
Drink more
true.
beer. Huh?
I don't think that's true. It's
Oh, it's so true.
incredibly dehydrating.
Not
That's why-
just one though. Watch. I'll look it up.
Just one. Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
got you.
can't-
Oh, yeah.
Just the
Let's see
same
what this
amount, like-
source is going to be.
Like one can of water. It's more hydrating.
I got you.
I'm telling you. You still don't believe me. I know it.
It's going to be Harvard, but it's like harvard.uk or something. It's like, well, that's not right.
What was that water that you had in the can?
Oh yeah, that's that
Death something.
Yeah, they had that at that place.
Oh, yeah.
delicious.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Did you see where Steve-O got a tattoo of the water? Like they use water to tattoo him, so it was like not a tattoo.
What the fuck?
Why even go through it? That's not even worth it. A real tattoo's not
Steve-O. I mean,
worth it.
what's he doing?
No, good lord.
I like
A
him, though.
study has
He's so
found that
good.
drinking a moderate amount of alcohol before a strenuous workout reduces the level of clotting substances in the blood at least 15%.
Yeah.
But one beer affects muscle growth. You are unlikely to do so unless you hit the bottle hard. Oh, never mind, that's wrong. I'll get the exact one. But what it is people were drinking one beer after their workout, like after a very strenuous workout. And it hydrated them more than like the one
See, I
through
used
water.
to,
Your body has to work
I used to
harder.
go for a
Yeah.
bike ride, but like, Chris Becci that I worked with was like,
What a
Yeah.
great name.
yeah. He was like, yeah, whenever you drink, it thins the blood and it allows oxygen to flow more freely.
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, well, I'm going to drink before I go for a bike ride. So I would like drink a bottle of wine
gonna
and then
say a
just,
bottle
a whole
of water.
bottle.
just
Yeah.
go ride around, and I could go way farther.
You
That's
don't
fact,
notice your
son.
legs are hurting.
It's like I ended up like I would
Yeah.
leave the Rent's house, and I would end up like at Granny's.
Oh my god.
I was like, what? Why am I here? I guess I'll go home now.
Yes. It's awesome.
Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was gonna say it might also just be that you were drunk and didn't care.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
that
I
too.
could easily walk to Granny's and back,
Yeah, dude.
not impaired.
But trucking it on a bike.
Yeah, a
That-
bike
that's
is totally
draining.
different. Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, I
okay.
would always stay in like 18th gear or whatever. So I was like, I gotta work on the legs, boy.
Yes.
Oh, so here's another. This is a little bit better. Based on the research, a low ABV beer. What is that? Alcohol by volume.
I don't know.
Beer.
Let's just say Bud Light, 4.2.
Yeah, one less than 4%. Can be effective
Jesus.
as a post-workout hydrator. The review also says that adding sodium to a non-alcoholic beer can provide its rehydration properties. So with that, if you want to do it without
That is
the alcohol.
counterintuitive as fuck.
Yeah, once you go over 4% alcohol content or have more than one or 2 12-ounce low ABV beers, that's where the benefits decline.
See, there's this grapefruit beer. I forget what it's called, but it's like
Ooh.
2.8%.
Oh, no
It's
shit.
delicious.
Yeah, but it's fucking good.
But you have to drink like 50 of them.
Yeah. By the end of it, man, I feel bloated when you drink beer to get drunk. Then you drink that, man, you just be like walking around with slosh and blah, blah.
I took those 2 sips of that banana peanut butter beer
Yeah.
and could tell.
Oh, so you might be all right with that one he's talking about.
Yeah, I'd drink half of it and be like, well, I got to go home.
I am feeling
I don't feel
woozy.
safe anymore.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. But that, I think the whole sports thing is crazy because we buy into professional sports and professional athletes for which they already are beyond what we could be, right? But the bar has been set so high for these extraordinary humans that
Well,
if they
extraordinary
choose,
physically.
yeah. If they choose to consume steroids to better their appearance or their game, for that matter,
Right.
It makes it feel like a sandwich when you say consume them.
consume. It's a steroid
Well,
sandwich.
that's what I mean. Seriously, that's their entertainment. I mean, they're people, but we are consuming them for entertainment purposes. Nothing else should really matter. I mean, like if you break the law, you break the law. Like you still live within the laws of everybody else. Like you're still a person, but I don't think any of the other stuff should matter.
The way you said that, it made it feel like it was like, I mean, if you break the law, you break the law. But I mean, still, just get out, play ball,
Right. Get bail.
stop canceling athletes.
Look at that's yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But then you have to like cross the line where it's other players are like, well, that's unfair because I'm not willing to change my body for religious purposes.
That's why you're gonna
moral
ride the
That's your
bench.
choice.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe
bench
pray
rider.
harder.
Yeah.
Get just
about
some wings.
steroids.
Yeah, like that's
About
your choice.
steroids.
But I mean, still, look, when it comes down to like some people are just better than other people.
Right.
So is that unfair? Because
Yes.
Jordan's just better than you?
We need to be
but you
equal.
don't want to play against him?
Hey, you joke.
Right.
We're moving into a place where I believe that the playing grounds are going to be so forcefully equal that it's going to be no fun anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be fun because I think that we're moving to a place where they're taking that competition. And even women in women's sports have masculine competition. And by that, I mean aggressive, hard. You know what I mean? Like there's an aggressive style to their competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Even in female sports. So if you take that out of there and you make everybody equal and you have all these rules and we got to treat everybody the same and everybody gets the trophy and blah, 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 then you take out all the fun and the competition. Nobody will want to
no one wants to
compete.
play.
Yeah.
No one
Nobody
wants
wants
to
to
do that
play.
shit.
Yeah, but then we could go to these events with like a portable podcast thing and we start a heckling
Heckling?
podcast.
We
yeah.
should do that anyway.
Definitely.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I would be like down to do that.
So,
Fuck
man, the
these
sports
people.
themselves are garbage, but those dudes talking shit on the sidelines, I want their jerseys.
Somebody said, and I forget where I read it or heard it, but they were like, "Oh, esports are going to take over the industry. There are going to be no more like physical sports that you can go and watch. It'll just be kids on games playing or on VR. They'll be playing these games, and then that's where it's moving because it's a big, like it's probably just as big as normal sports at this point because they fill arenas with that shit, right?
Yeah,
Kinda.
kind of. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made for it, but I don't want to. I don't want it to go that way. So I'm gonna say no. It won't.
I think, I mean, it might get like similar to it, but people love sports.
I know.
Even during COVID, people
me throw a
were
wrench.
furious.
Let me
that they
throw a
could
wrench. You ready?
Hit me with a wrench.
What about hit me with spikes? What about when, let's face it, global warming is approaching very quickly, right?
I was here.
When that happens and you can't go outside and you can't go enjoy those without burning to death, then esports will be all that you have. And people
Stadiums.
will do it. You can't do it. Oh, I guess
Indoor stadiums.
Indoor stadiums. Yeah, but you have to get from the car
Tunnels.
to your house to the place.
How do you expect to get food to your house?
That's the question, man. They're going to have to answer those questions.
It's worth going out for pizza, but I'll be damned if I'm going out for football.
They might not even be able to do that. They might have to make underground tunnels where we get it shipped like, they do at the mail place, and it takes the little
That'd
thing.
be awesome.
That you have to send the money in one of those things.
Yeah, at the
And it
bank.
send you back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Look,
They can make that.
Oh my God,
for
maybe
us.
that's why the Boring Company or whatever, Elon's thing is the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to be underground tube people.
Yes.
underground tube people.
I love the idea of that.
And that's the baffling thing. So it doesn't bug me that people are ignorant, right? It doesn't bother me so much because I realize that it is I know it's hard to deal with, but I realize that our government, and there's things I'm fucking sure that the right advertisement has fucked with our mental state for at least a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I realize that these companies and lobbyists and commercials and all that have played a big role in why people either A, don't believe that global warming is a thing and can't be proven, or B, that it's like going to end the world and it's going to be suffering and all this shit, right? Because we technically, as normal human beings, we don't know the answer to all that because we can't do the research. We don't know how to do the research properly. But
I'd say we do.
do you think a normal human... Well, I guess you could research the research.
I don't think of like a normal... I'm not thinking like us. But
Right.
like, the people on the cutting edge of science.
Could do it,
They just put it in their little fucking box and then the shit squirms around and then we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, all these companies have swayed us one way or another. So I go to big oil companies because they're the most egregious at this point because they have done the most damage. And they are very sly. They do the research that will tell them what will get both sides to either argue or agree with each other. So I believe in climate change and somebody else believes there's all hoax and stuff. Well, we got our information from the same news source, but one skewed it so that this idiot over here is like, yep, I don't believe it now. And then this idiot over here is like, I believe it. I'm going to fight to the end to change it, right? And there's no fucking after we're split, it's very hard to come back together.
Seeing these things where it's like the idea of the illustration of the people on both sides, like, I'm going to fight this to the death. People aren't fighting shit. They're just ruining social media.
Yeah, they're just bitching about shit.
Yeah.
Nobody, and people give shit to that chick. What's her name? The one that's fighting climate change. She was a young chick when she first came out.
I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thornburg. I forget her name.
Yeah, that
man.
Swedish broad or whatever.
Damn, dude. But yeah, that chick.
If anybody out there knows her name, give us
Give us a call.
And for real, that both sides used her to their advantage. One side used it because they were like, it's a child. She's very well spoken. She's going to go out and fight.
She's not very well spoken.
Not in our language.
It pretty much equates to, how dare you?
How dare you? So you have her, and then the other side will point out all of her flaws and how she's not a scientist and this and that, just
her
to
feet
get.
aren't even that big.
Yeah, just to get the one side to be like, oh, yep, our point is made. Look, they're using the whatever. They skew it both sides. It's just like the people that watch Fox and think that what's his name, the douchebag, curly hair, what's his name?
I don't know.
Tucker
Fox
Carlson?
News?
Who's he
Yeah,
talking
Tucker
about?
Carlson. Yeah. That they think he's like, oh, he's telling us the truth because he works within the system and he talks shit. No, he is spinning his conversation so that you think that he's on your side while he is getting you to believe the side that they want you to. It's weird. There's a video I'll link
It's
that explains
literally
it.
in
There's
court documents that he's purposefully lying
Yeah.
to you because you're stupid enough to believe it.
Oh, and they do well at it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's over there cashing checks just like the rest of them,
Yeah.
taking money from lobbyists just like the rest of them. And people just fail to see that they've been playing us the whole time. And we're not ever going to agree on that and be like, okay, if we all stand up at one time and get them to honestly tell us what's going on or just fight them in general.
I feel like everybody sees it, but about the other side. So yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, man, they're paying the right wingers. Oh, they're paying the left wingers. They're not paying us though. We're independent and truthy.
Yeah. But
That is ridiculous
you're right, though.
to assume that, like we're the good guys. Like everybody's corrupt. Just, but come on. The Republicans are fucking extreme.
Come on.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong
Well,
with the other side, but
with that, I tend to agree with Jordan Peterson, because like with the right, it's so much easier to see when they've gone to the extreme, but with the left, it's masked behind a cloak of kindness.
they kind of hide it a bit more. Okay,
Yeah.
gotta
So
dig a
with
bit.
that,
And you talk about the laziness, and let's face it, I see what's going, and I see the stupidity and the back and forth and all that, right? I refuse to vote because I don't want to get into the system of
that'll
doing
show
that.
Morrissey.
Yeah, no, I and I know that's stupidity, because then you don't have the right to argue about one side or the other.
Of course
But I
you
don't
have the right. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Oh, well, if you don't vote, then you don't get a right to bitch and complain about somebody who got voted because your guy didn't get voted. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
kind of the reason that I vote sometimes, just so if
Just
people
so-
are like, "Did you even vote?" Yes, and fuck your opinion.
just to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
they go,
could
you
just
know.
say yes. Like
Yeah,
they
but I don't
know.
want to be a liar.
But you
Yeah.
could be. They wouldn't
Then it
know.
kind of cripples my argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
He's a
wouldn't
liar
know.
out of the gate. They
They
wouldn't
do.
know.
Yeah.
Unless they listen to the show.
Yeah, and
They're
then
like,
they
yeah,
would.
I got him. I
Yeah, but you
lied.
told them you voted.
I lied.
So,
Just always say you voted.
but
Of course I voted.
There's so many people with so
That's
many
easy.
opinions and what they think's going on and how they think that could be fixed, and nobody puts any action whatsoever. If you think that watching this stuff and quote unquote studying up and watching all these third-party news sources and shit is actually doing something, you are so far off base. You don't even live in reality. You're not doing anything. You're watching stuff and then you spout it back
Talk about
off
it.
later.
Maybe,
Like,
but are
it's
any
dumb.
of us living in reality?
Maybe not. We
'Cause
might
if
all
that's
be
the
in a
case,
black
then
hole.
It's like, what are your news sources? What makes them so goddamn special?
Who, me?
Why do I
Oh, I
know
don't have
anything?
Oh,
Neither
I
one
got
of us
you.
know anything.
No, that's what I think. That's what we need to come on common grounds with. Is although we have these opinions, they've been spoon-fed to one of us by one news source or another, or from some ad company.
I seek mine out. I've eaten my information hand over fist,
From where?
wherever.
Just spit everywhere.
I think we need to come to terms with the idea, though, that whenever we go to sleep, we wake up in a different reality. So
Every
all of the
time?
news that we've gathered from the previous realities is all just a big mess of things that once were true but
Yeah.
aren't now.
Have you ever tried to wake up and then feel
Chaos.
Yeah.
feel as if it was the first time you ever woke up and that all your memories were a fabricated reality?
Yeah.
You ever tried to just sit there and think that way?
Well, I
It's
genuinely
super
thought
strange.
that for months.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super strange, bro.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. It's because they could all be fabricated. You could have just woken up from whatever. You could not be real at all. And then these are just well put together memories of on a program that forgot to shut down.
Like that constant feeling that you're going to wake up and be elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'll finally wake up. I knew this was real.
Yeah.
Finally, I'll awaken in Turkey.
I think we all got mental health issues, every one of us. I think we're all mentally fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you think you're not, you're more fucked up than the rest of us.
I don't know. I
Just
mean,
playing.
there's a part of me I want to think yes.
So-
But then the people that are fucked up could just use that as an argument.
Oh, you don't want that.
Well, then you can't do that.
No, you can't do
So
that.
just nip that in the bud.
That's
Nope.
just-
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Just
don't
get rid of
get to do
that.
Okay.
Go on.
But
somebody.
everything can always
Next.
be used as a next argument. I told you to do it, Andy. Next song.
That's I don't know. I think people that fight so much for that shit is just it's ridiculous to continue to do that. But whatever. If that's what you want to waste your life on, that's great.
Write poetry about it.
Yeah, write poetry about it.
Yeah.
I do
And,
like the idea that everybody's mentally unwell. I agree with that.
in one way or another.
Like
Oh
in the
yeah, I
same
mean,
way
I don't
that-
think that every single person is totally fucked, but
Okay.
yeah,
Like in the same way that everybody's a little gay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But that what do you do in that sense? When they press all that stuff and they have us fighting and stuff, what you said just a minute ago, you just create and do
Don't
and,
put words
and
in my
move
mouth.
just to distract yourself from the inevitable.
Right.
So you would just distract yourself from the inevitable. Not with this stuff that's only going to cause a heart attack at an early age. You're going to die at 50 if you keep stressing about seeking the truth on some fucking website somewhere.
Reptilian AIDS.
Yeah. Fucking live or you're going to die of a heart attack. I just read a story about a dude that was on his way to retire at 49 because he built this great company. He worked for his CEO at this company. He retires, and not 3 months later, the dude has a heart attack. You know why, probably? Probably because he's stressed out so much about his business and life and his things going on in his family. You got to calm the stress down, bro.
That reminds me of a story that I read, and then I heard it like a day or two later. There's this dude, he's like a fisherman guy, and he's fishing on the shore. You know, he's kind of done for the day, so he lays down. Then this rich dude comes along. He's like, what are you doing? I was fishing, you know, I was taking a break now. He's like, well, you know, you could sell those fish for more than you need, sell those fish, buy some boats. And then it goes down the line. It's like, you know, you could get a fleet,
Yeah.
and then you could hire a bunch of people, and then you're making ass loads of money. He's like, well, why would I do that? It's like, so you can then relax and just fish on the shore. He's like, that's what I'm doing now.
Do all that work just to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, too, because so many people are worried about the position they are in currently that they're constantly trying to work towards something or stress out about something to get to a point where they could just be in the moment now. But you refuse to because you want some goal out there that's super hard to obtain.
Yeah.
Could you imagine relaxing after you had all that? Then you had all those companies and shit. You can only relax if you sell it all and go back to your original state of being.
Yeah.
Just hire a bunch of people to run the shit and tell them all to never call you.
Yeah.
Never.
Never call
Never
me.
call me.
Never
Just
cheat
send me
me.
money.
Just keep the money coming.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing? It's going to be fishing over here.
Well,
For
I don't
not
think...
profit.
I'm going to do what I've always done.
Yeah.
I know I'm a person of, like, I think a lot of people should just own their own businesses and we'll work for each other and we'll exchange money and all that shit. But I think there's a lot of people that can't do that they will work for somebody and that's fine. Because we do need those people, honestly. I mean, you need people to do the jobs, right? And you need people that can run the companies. And there's not, you know, whatever. But maybe as time progresses, they will get paid and they will get treated like they need to be treated because they run the companies, not the owners, not the people who come up with the ideal. Like as much like that dichotomy needs to change. Is that a word, dichotomy?
Yeah.
Needs to change.
That's the one.
You can't have these company owners that do jack shit make it more like I worked for a supervisor one time. No offense. I know you're a supervisor now. You're a
Dick.
manager.
Which is it?
Supervisor.
Oh.
They're the same thing.
Yeah.
Managing supervisor.
Mr. Manager.
There you go. So I had this person I worked for, and then so they would not work a minute over the time that they were supposed to, and they made salaries so they knew what they were making, right? They got paid substantially more a year than we did.
Substantially.
But we would have to run in the trenches. We would have to get in the crawl space. We would have to break our backs, stuff like that. Now, given that person did work hard enough to get to that position, right? But you are compensating him more than the person that does all the work. And this dude doesn't even put in overtime. This dude doesn't put in any extra work. He just takes, you know, the calls or whatever. In no way, shape, or form is that something that needs to happen. If anything, pay the guys that are doing the work at least as much as that guy.
Simmer down. I mean, I there was a time when I agreed with you, but now that I see more of the structure of companies and stuff, the people that are moving up through the ranks not only have done the work prior, they've also proven that they're willing to be loyal to the cause that they're in.
Okay.
And when I think of like the hourly people, there aren't too many that I've come across that are like, oh yeah, that's fine. I know that's not part of my job, but I'll do that. That's rare.
Very rare.
So it's paying for the above and beyond that the person has proven that they'll do.
Not so much the job or title, but more so
Right.
to do with
Because
it.
if like these hourly people, they all decide they're going to call out the day after the Super Bowl,
Oh,
the salaried motherfuckers get to be there.
they
Like,
have
well,
to, yeah.
I got to do it.
Or they get fired. I can see that. I'm definitely with that argument. Because then they compensate you for taking that bullet. Because managers also something that I noticed, they take a lot of the shit calls. They take a lot of the shit that
they
rolls
do
downhill.
All that shit.
Yeah, and you have to take responsibility for the people that work underneath you. So you're taking that shit too. So pretty much you're paid to take shit. more shit anyways than the average worker.
In Cooney's position, it's like a matter of, even when he's off the clock, if somebody needs something, he has to answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's annoying as shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
do that.
That's fucking
Absolutely.
terrible.
I'm home.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, here's a little more money. You can take
Yeah.
these calls at home.
I wonder if you can give back a dollar or two and be like, here, I don't want to take these calls. Here's
Dollar or two.
I don't want to talk to this dumbass. Here's $20.
Hell yeah.
But that's what, it's rough. But I think, too, a lot of people are complaining about, like, the no workers and stuff. We don't have the employees, but they're just positioning themselves right to make more money and be compensated for what they do. For those that actually work and give it to the company.
Like, with the whole worker thing, it's like, companies for the longest time have exploited people and been horrible. But I don't like the argument of minimum wage should be enough to live on. If you want minimum wage to be enough to live on, then we should have an agreed upon setting of minimum living.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And then that would obviously exclude cell phone, probably exclude internet. You have a place to live where there's a bed, a couch, a refrigerator, and a stove.
Food, right?
You're going to put food in the refrigerator. I felt like it was implied.
Maybe not.
But that's it.
Nothing's implied.
Okay, so you have a place to sit, you have a place to sleep, you have a place to put your food, you have food, and a thing with which to cook it.
Yeah.
And that should be what you get for minimum wage.
I can agree with that.
I
That
can
shit's
see it, yeah.
still expensive.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
They
I feel
definitely
like
need to.
there are just people that I've come across in my daily life that they think, oh, well, if I'm doing work for a company, I should be living like I'm making $50,000 a year.
Yeah, and then I get a BMW and I get
It's like, the company's
do.
making enough for this. Well, you're not doing half that number of work.
Yeah.
And whenever
That's
you're here, you're picking your butt and jerking off.
Yeah.
So,
That's
And it's
unfortunate. I
their
see
company.
that.
They get to do what the fuck they want with their money. Start your
Yes.
own company.
and
Yeah.
it's like,
And you have the right to.
companies shouldn't exploit people. Leadership should be good, but the people at the bottom shouldn't act like entitled fuck faces.
Absolutely.
Oh, and let's just put it out there. The companies that have treated their employees well, take care of them, they see them as a valuable piece to what the company is, are not hurting for employees.
Right.
Trust
No.
that.
Yeah.
Do you
They've
see
got
Chick-fil-A?
workers.
Chick-fil-A's adding on to their buildings right now.
Yeah.
Do you see them hurting? No.
Apple is one of those weird companies because like it's hard to get a job there, but they also outsource to China. So they're kind of like best of both worlds.
They're just
Yeah.
getting everyone to work for them.
They still have a hard time, those companies, and I'm sure it's hard to find it, but like once they explain their benefits and how they do raises and how they take care of their employees and they do things to honor their employees, like they are not hurting for employees. The places are like McDonald's and Domino's and the gas station up the road and shit like that. Like of course they're gonna have issues.
Yeah,
you know?
you can tell like when a company has turnover rate like crazy,
Yeah,
they're not great.
yeah.
If everybody leaves in the first 3 months, you're not great.
No.
You need to change something.
You're gonna have some turnover because you got people like that dude that was like starting the movement of like no work or getting paid for no work or some
Yeah.
shit. Like you're gonna have those.
You're
a
definitely
lot
going to
of
have
those.
some.
But
But if every quarter you have an entirely new
yeah.
staff,
something's up.
Yeah.
the
Something's not
exception of
right.
like 2 people, something's wrong.
One of these like high schoolers that are getting out, because that's something that was like baffling me. I'm like, there's so many high schoolers that are currently in and graduating every single year. There's a certain amount of college students that are in college and graduating every single year. Where are they at? And I think really what it comes down to is either A, they're at these companies that are treating them well, or they realize that they can start their own thing. So they're like, I'll give that a try while I'm young and can take the risk. And especially if you're in high school and you are if I realized that in high school, I would have taken the risk then. You know what I risked? I was like, I'll take these drugs and kick indoors and I'll go to prison, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah, let's like switch that and think about if I would have been like, I'm going to take this risk and try to sell these pieces of popcorn to, whatever.
Yeah.
A popcorn
A
farmer.
baby down
I
the
don't know.
street.
But anything like that, I mean, they're willing to take the risk now, and that's beautiful because I think, we talk about innovation and competition all the time. I think you add more competition to the system if you have more people competing for different roles. So now all these people are trying to come up with that ideal to make a lot of money. And how do you do that when we are shipping fucking supplies to Mars already? Like, you have to go above and beyond for that shit. So you have a lot of people competing for above and beyond. You also have a lot of people competing on how to make the next like little fucking fidget spinner so they can sell it for millions. But
Right.
fuck those people. They won't be around for long. No. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But won't they?
Oh, the fidget dude, he just keeps changing the way it
Fidget
looks, and people
dude.
are like,
Most
yep,
of them will
fine.
kill themselves because they're high anxiety. So.
Right? Like, none of these are
Fidget
working for
spinners
me.
for-
Why do I keep failing?
That's exactly how I got talk. Our girl, I don't know who made the fidget
Oh, I
spinner.
thought you knew who it was. I was like, damn, I'm going to have to look this person up.
No, I will though. That's funny. But yeah, man, I think you have more people getting in the field of innovating. And we need that. We need innovation. We need ideals quick, especially for like the climate change thing. Like Elon still has the thing out for the prize money for whoever can come up with a carbon capture machine that is very efficient. Because if it is, that is a true world-saving technology.
Yeah.
And you should be compensated abundantly for that.
Maybe instead of particle colliders and stuff, we should just put the money and energy
All
towards
focus.
that.
Yeah. I think it's going to
Or
come down to
whatever.
we're going to have to.
We're all gonna die. Who cares?
That too. At least we'll get the data
Put
together
it into
so
coffins.
all of our cells will be crammed up
It's,
trying to get through a tunnel.
Right.
Like my kind of pessimistic, kind of who gives a shit outlook, it kind of got highlighted, I think, yesterday. Because Casper was watching TikTok, and there was this chick, like, on somebody's pants or whatever. Like, whenever dudes are checking out asses, like, she thought it would be clever to write, like, someone's daughter or something to, like, humanize
Sure.
the woman,
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, who gives a shit? She's a human.
Yeah.
What makes her so fucking special?
Yeah, and she has an ass.
Yeah, it's somebody's daughter. I still don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like humans aren't really humanized in my eyes.
Are you ready?
Well, you are almost definitely a sociopath. You just don't like
least
kill
lightweight.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just what is it with this crap? Where it's like there's some inherent value in humans, and you can't think, oh yeah, dude, I'd like to fuck that
Ego.
stranger.
This
What is that?
it is. I don't know.
What is that?
I feel like people just need to, like, I don't want to be sexualized, which, hey.
Yeah, I mean, you do a good job of deterring that.
Yes. Hairy legs,
Hairy leg.
you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yeah. But, I'm not stupid enough to think that no one looks at me and is like, I'd fuck her. Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. You don't get to control what people think. Now,
I can't do that.
no, but, hopefully no one's walking up to her, like, grabbing her vagina and,
Yeah, I mean, like,
assaulting her.
Keep your hands to yourself and
Yeah.
keep cat calls to a minimum.
Yes, please.
If you're a construction worker, say whatever you want. But beyond that, maybe
Yeah.
just tell it to your friend right there.
Yeah, seriously. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people think about sex. End of story.
End of story.
Yeah.
That's why we're here
Yeah.
from a biological perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did say our girl because the name that of the lady who created it was Catherine Hedinger. Should enjoying the high life. Actually, she didn't make a lot of money off those, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, why am I poor?
Yeah, it says that even though they soared, she could not afford the $400 renewal. Oh, here it is. She held the patent on the fidget spinner for 8 years, but surrendered it in 2005 because she could not afford the $400 renewal fee.
She must not have
Damn
been
it.
very good at managing her money.
Dude, but could you imagine coming out with something that literally went global so quick?
Yeah.
And it's because you couldn't afford. You could have had, if I was her, I know it's saying, oh, if I was somebody, but you could have went and had an investor and be like, look, I'll give you small percentage off of every unit sold if you can just pay for this patent for me.
Yeah.
You could have
just
found
jerked
somebody.
off some punks under the bridge.
No,
yeah,
seriously.
for 400.
Yeah.
You
So,
can't
yeah.
suck a dick?
Yeah, just one.
Or
Would have
I
got you
mean,
there? Well, maybe a couple.
I'll give you a fidget spinner.
I don't know how much a blowjob goes for today.
Right. Be an escort for a night. You definitely get 400
I don't
bucks
know.
for
Have you
that.
seen her? Have you seen her?
I
But
haven't,
I'm
but
sure
I'm-
there's a guy that will go.
Kick in the
Absolutely.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what
For
I'm
real.
talking about. You're
Jesus.
speaking my language.
That's my move.
It always, I do get excited though when one of my customers is like, "Oh, I show up to their property, there's no key," and then they're far away, and they're like, "Hey, just break a window and get a thing." I'm like, "I got one better for you. Just kick the door in."
Please let me
Please
mule
let me
kick
kick
your
one.
door.
First, I've tried to unlock it with like a pick and all that shit. So I tried to do it the nice way, but then I'm like, it deserves a kick
Yeah.
at this point.
There was one episode of the It's Always Sunny podcast where, like, you know, on the episode where they're like at the Vietnam restaurant or whatever, they try to kick in the door.
Yeah.
Where like they're like, how hard could that really be? So Dennis kicked in a door, and it was so easy. But he was like, man, I felt so powerful, and like the doorknob got stuck in the wall when he kicked it.
That's
'cause He kicked the
awesome.
shit out of it.
Hell yes. Plus
That's-
our houses are made of like paper.
I'm sorry,
so-
Glenn.
Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Glenn kicked in a door.
Glenn. That's
Dennis just came to town for a moment.
I've reached a door that I can't kick in quite often. Like businesses, I don't know if you've ever
Is it a
worked in a
garage
business.
door?
No, it was actually like a door to the place.
Yeah.
And it's like they put these metal bar, it hooks in. It's like an emergency lock thing for when you leave, you throw that in, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's possible because I'm going to tell you that somebody I know did it. I'm not going to say who that is,
Right.
but it is extremely hard and task intensive.
Well, I mean,
so if you come in contact with it, just
I
give
followed
up.
you for most of it, but what's a business?
What is a business? Which
It was
business
me, by the
specifically?
way. It wasn't me.
Door
shit.
kicker.
Door kicker. No, man. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I love that people are trying to change the narrative as far as work and payment goes. But I think that all things with good intentions done the wrong way can backfire quickly. And you can settle on a lot less, which sucks. Because if you work yourself in a hole and you have to settle on a lot less, that's where you're going to be stuck. Look how long they've been stuck at like $7.25. You're going to be stuck at that shit for decades.
It's the
Right.
thing that's annoying because it's like, if you want people to pay more, you either have to legislate it or you have to do it forcefully.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whenever it came time for unions and like the 40-hour work week and, you know, all that shit going on, it wasn't like, hey, please pay us more, sir. It was just like trouble for a long ass time.
yeah.
And then eventually it was like, well, you can't kill us all. In a sense, you know. But
You pretty much summed it up.
it's like you can't force people to do nice things
Yeah.
without being a bigger dickhead than they are.
Yeah. You got to beat them
Yeah.
at their own game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
You got to fight fire with fire, essentially.
You gotta fight fire
Well,
with water.
You don't get nice things being nice, I guess.
A lot of the people on the one
Not
side are
assholes.
trying to fight that fire emotionally. Most people fight their fights emotionally, and it's tough to watch people fight a fight emotionally when they need to step back, regroup, talk about how to attack, because that's what the other side's doing.
Take
They're
up
not
pitchforks.
They don't give a shit because they have the room to breathe and work out the logistics of how they're going to implement new commercials and new information and all that shit, right? So you need to be doing the same thing. You need to know, like, what can you give them? What tactics can you use?
Let's
and all
get
that
William
shit.
Shatner to do a voiceover.
It's like the people who stormed the Capitol. Like, there was no set plan. That's why it ended the way it did. If they went in there with a fucking plan and they didn't storm in and all this shit, they literally could have made whatever change they were looking for. I know they were trying to overthrow the thing.
They would have had a higher percentage, but they still would have been doomed in the
Oh,
end.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and I
But
think
it could have
because,
been more of an impactful thing.
yeah, they
Had
could
an
have had a
actual
better message.
and an approach been there.
Yeah, man. At all.
Instead of
Yeah.
just, let's put our feet on desks and talk
Throw
about
papers
cunts and
around.
stuff.
Take selfies.
Yeah.
That's no, it's absolutely
Way to
true.
handle
man.
it like a gorilla.
Yeah.
I think all their stuff was pretty baseless. And they're even when they were like come up with this pseudo reason why they were doing it and overthrowing, like that's the thing that just doesn't happen. You wanted to recount, so force them to recount. Stuff like that you could have done from outside of the building in a peaceful way because they realized that there was a massive amount of people. They fear a massive amount of people going against the government and shit. So they would listen. They would listen a little bit.
Well, and really, the problem in this situation is that they did the recount. They lost. They wanted it to
they
be.
lost by more.
Yes.
lost by more.
Yeah, they wanted things to be the way that it wasn't, and the
Yeah.
only way they could think to do it was violently.
Yeah,
So.
unfortunate. And a lot of them I'm sure wasn't, but you did have a lot of mental health in that audience as well as any other audience that has ever been. There's always radicalized.
Yeah, brainwashing.
Yeah, there's always that group. So for them to ever say that there wasn't and it was all peaceful, that's wrong. Just because statistically speaking, there is a substantial amount of mental health in a group that large. On a message and thing
Unhealth?
that long.
Unwellness?
Yes.
Unwell,
Like
yeah.
mob mentality style?
No, I'm talking about like legitimate, like
Like even
Mental health
independently. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Say issues.
issues.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
If you just say mental health, then it's like, well, yeah, there were a bunch of pairs of eyes.
Yeah, everybody has
I think
mental
everybody,
health.
come on.
Oh, did I not say problem or issue? Oh, my bad. There's a lot of mental health
I
issues.
was like,
Yeah,
I
my
want to let
bad.
it slide, but Jesus, dude.
No, that was a rough one. But yeah, man. And for anybody to say it's just with any group, you know what I mean? And I
Right.
think I'll go back to saying I think we all have a certain amount of mental health issues within us. Like we do.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from, trauma from your parents and then from the government and from the things that have happened in our lifetime. Things like that. It all adds up. Every single day adds up to what you are now. And it just makes you wonder, because some of these people, it's just so hard to conversate with anymore. So hard to have a conversation on both sides. So what do you do in that instance? You don't draw a white flag and give up.
You should just carry around a pamphlet of things that you want to talk about
Jesus.
and hand it to them. Yeah.
Now they're gonna burn in hell.
You got a second to talk about Jesus? No. You got a second to talk about mozzarella sticks? Yeah. I got
Here's
time
my
for
other
that.
pamphlet then.
Have more pamphlets.
Oh, this is my real shit Plan B pamphlet.
Yeah, man. And that's if we don't step back and decide on how exactly we're going to do it, and we stick to a narrative, and we do that, no change will ever happen in any industry. Just like the people that are protesting against going to work and shit like that. If you don't do it the right way, you're going to wind up either where you're at currently or worse. And you look at how they did the protesters, right? They sent them all back to their city. They allowed them all to go back, right? They didn't lock them up right there. They let them all go back individually where they're not in this big group. And then each individual state charged each individual person. And then they didn't have the group behind them. They couldn't,
Right.
band together.
What about
So-
Ted? Ted was kicking stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just rough, man. They knew that they would allow you to do that, go back, and then they charge you, and this thing would be stifled to a certain degree. It made a lot more people mad, you know what I mean? But it's stifled to a certain extent.
Yes.
Where now they're like, well, they'll still do the research and stuff, but they won't be as outspoken because now the federal government's watching them.
Right.
But if you don't, that's how we're all going to end up.
Always been watching.
Yeah, always, but they just
They've
presented it.
always been watching.
So if you don't step back and do it in an intelligent manner, or at least a well thought out manner, you're going to end up worse than you started.
Yeah.
That's
With the idea of mob mentality, like, how much do you think that affects, like, the House and the Senate? It's like, if you get enough people behaving in a certain way for so long,
Yeah.
like, outside of the congressional halls or whatever, maybe they could behave normally.
Yeah.
But then you get them all in the same room together. Like, I see you over there, motherfucker.
I know. I've wondered about that myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It has to have some impact.
Yeah, the studies on people's decision when you're in a group compared to when you're in they'll even make the wrong decision knowing it's the wrong decision when they're with a group of people making the same decision.
Yeah. They should
So,
make
yeah.
them all make their decisions at home, cast their ballot there, bring that shit in and drop it in the box.
At home
or whatever.
over dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need you to cast your vote from your happy place.
Mm-hmm.
And they're afraid too of either losing their position that they worked their whole life for, or are being worse off, like getting locked up or being retributed against, or does
planned
anybody,
and stole.
Yeah. Does anybody know whatever happened to the military officer that come out and spoke against the military about the thing? I forget what the whole story was
I
behind
need
that.
a little more detail about that.
Yeah, I'll look it up and I'll talk about it like next time, because
The guy I'm thinking that he got raped to death by sheep.
I feel like this is made up too, but possibly. You were really, really close with the other one.
Yeah.
Sheep testicle thing.
Oddly
The
close.
shark testicle thing.
Yeah. Uncomfortably close.
Um,
Yeah.
Military guy who spoke out. How about that?
Yeah. Do you know what he was talking about?
Kind of. Okay, Marine who became social media star questioning Afghanistan war found guilty awaits sentencing after a day-long hearing. But Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller, has been found guilty of 6 charges. See, all he did was he was criticizing the war in Afghanistan, saying that we didn't belong there in the first place. It's been a baseless war since it started. We were there just for things like, that's the guy.
God, he's lucky he didn't get killed.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It seems like it's kind of hard to have conversations about stuff like this without people that haven't watched the X-Files.
Right?
It's like, what do you think the cigarette smoking man is doing about that motherfucker?
I swear.
Nothing good.
Yeah, that's it's rough, but that's all he did is made a video about it, because apparently there were a shitload of people within the military that disagreed, especially senior officers and higher ups. And he's the only one that would come forth and say something on a video, but he wanted to be on a video so that nothing would happen to him.
What are even his charges? How do you get charged for speaking your mind?
They can charge you for treason and shit for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brig.
I feel like maybe I'm basing this on nothing.
Right.
But the idea of
As we do.
being charged with treason is like being called a racist.
Oh.
It's like, you can't recover from that.
Right.
So
What did I do that was treasonous? You
I said so.
yeah.
Yeah.
You heard him. We all heard him.
Yeah.
I got you. This Marine was speaking out in criticism of Biden administration for last month's chaotic evacuation. So it was mostly to do with the evacuation, but also to do with the fact that it was a disagreement.
Well, the
about how it's being
evacuation,
handled.
that one motherfucker was to blame.
Oh, yeah, that guy?
That fucking son of a bitch that you sent the article about, The dude that Lou Elizondo had beef with.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
God, what's that guy's name?
That,
I'll never remember it.
yeah.
I know.
That intern kissing son of a bitch. Whatever the fuck his name was.
I know.
That's just so annoying. Maybe, okay, so, back in the day, like the religious folks, they were like, all right, well, they're eunuchs or whatever now. And
Now.
maybe we need to do that with government officials.
I'm down.
Just take their genitals.
Yeah, I love
and,
that idea.
put them in their office. They
Like
have
in a
their,
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have their doctorate on the wall and their
Yeah.
box of genitals on the desk.
Yes.
I'm obviously here to serve you for the best. I gave up my favorite thing about me.
Sir, your genitals are missing. Damn it.
Did the dog eat them again?
Not again. Yes. That's awesome.
Somebody's got to do something about that dog. Yeah, that's fine, man.
Oh,
Adam wants to call it. He's uncomfortable about genital eating.
genital
It's where we
washer.
draw the line.
No, I was
No.
wondering if I need to put this battery in, but I figure
No,
we're
that's
there,
good.
so why
Yeah,
not?
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Let's watch some Grays.
We got 3 episodes to
3
get through.
episodes. No, we appreciate
Yeah.
everybody stopping by to listen. If you had any comments on anything that we talked about, or want to correct us at all, put that shit in the comments and we will address it.
Please.
Either next one or we'll just make a video and post it to correct ourselves.
Yeah,
this
we'll
time.
go ahead and put a Bitcoin link in the description. So if you want to donate
$1.
any Bitcoin to us,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you're down with donating to the cause, man, we'd always appreciate that too. But we're not asking.
You can just drop some weed by my house.
Yeah, the best kind of donation. Yeah, man. That was episode 147 of the Wildly Uninteresting podcast with Adam, Ian, and Sarah.
Hi.
I thought it was 148.
Oh, it is.
Because earlier I was
My
going to be a
bad.
dick and say it
Yeah.
was 147.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
my bad.
Look at
148.
that.
I'm trying
We
to
don't
fuck up
know
a
where
wet
we
dream.
are. It doesn't matter.
What day is it?
What day?
Could you please tell me?
Wildly Uninteresting podcast.
Ba-ba-ba. Yeah.